Now, what's cool about this area, we love turkey hunting, and this is one of our favorite hot spots for corners. We've actually shot about 4 toms throughout the years, maybe 5 in this location. Jackson was 3 weeks old, and Jen shot a tom right over there by those aspen behind me. This is also an area where we routinely see poult. We have an 1.5 acres of switchgrass that stretches out for over 200 yards through this corner. And it's that perfect combination that we have for producing and exploding our turkey numbers, and I'm going to talk about that. We have exploded the turkey numbers on this property. It doesn't matter if it's toms, hens, or even poult we see. And you don't do that. There's a lot of talk online for why turkey numbers have declined. And I think hunters in general don't want to blame it on habitat because they feel like everything they do is perfect for habitat, or they want to blame other things. Now, we took out 39 nest robbers this year between a skunk, possums, and raccoons. And so, but we didn't really have a need to do that at first, because if you don't have the habitat for turkeys, and especially poult and nesting cover, then you're not going to have turkeys. And so that's the biggest and lowest hole in the bucket, is making sure that you have the habitat. Habitat loss is the reason for turkey number decline, and people like to blame it on chemicals, whatever the reason, predators. But if you don't have habitat, it doesn't matter if it's deer, pheasant, especially pheasant, turkeys, rabbits, deer, whatever. Grouse out here. We have lots of grouse. How do we get grouse? By creating habitat for them. So with turkeys, the number one reason you don't have turkeys on your land is loss of habitat. I'll show you what we've done. This switchgrass is one thing. Switchgrass as a monoculture alone is not a great thing. It's awesome for the screening we have, because we have this switchgrass here that pulls deer closer to this edge, because they're not looking right out across 200 yards across the field. They can't see through the switchgrass. So deer feel more comfortable walking right on the edge here. That helps us maximize the amount of cover we have on the inside. What it does for turkey is it's prime, and we've watched them driving through here, and you see poult dart into here, into the switchgrass, and then they're gone. Same with the pheasant. It's the same thing. But turkeys typically are not going to nest right in the middle of the switchgrass. They're going to nest on this edge. And when we talk about nesting edge, we talk about briars and edge and shrubs going back into our aspen regeneration. So this edge right here, not only is it great for rabbits, not only great for the outside of where grouse are going to be, this in-between area is perfect for turkeys. So creating this soft edge, you know, a lot of times people are looking at, here's ag field, and they'll create some hinge cuts, and then we have the hardwoods. To me, that's not wide enough and soft enough of an edge. I want grass out here, then I want that regen, lower early successional growth, and then I want the hardwoods on the inside. That creates that perfect nesting habitat. Now, back in the woods back there, we have great roosting habitat. We had a neighbor on the other side, right down here, on the other side of this hollow. They want us to consider having a logger come in and take out a portion of our hardwoods down there. Well, that's one of our best turkey roosting trees that we have on the property. It's also an area where we access along the edge of our land, and it's great for accessing through and not spooking deer, because it's open hardwoods. And so it's a great combination to have. You know, the best properties are not one cutting across the entire property. That creates a monoculture of a certain level of diversity. I'd rather have pockets of different types of cutting, different types of species, so that we have hardwoods down here, we have still standing pockets of aspen, we have cut pockets of aspen, we have edge with shrubs, switchgrass. The more layers you have in a property, the more wildlife you have, and that includes turkeys. So we do this in a few different ways. We have the soft edge and gradual transition. We have the escape cover for turkey poult. And once we've had that, I hope it makes sense, now that we've provided the habitat, and this is the exact same approach as our pheasants. We had native pheasants here, but we've exploded the pheasant population because of creating this escape cover, because of creating these long lines of switchgrass that stand up, because of giving them fall and winter cover. You know, most pheasant cover that you buy in a bag out there lays down in the wintertime, and it's not actually pheasant cover. It is for the summertime. People talk about the forbs and forages and flowers and cones that are in there for pheasant, but if it all dies out and lays down and there's no cover in the winter, it's all for naught. You have to have cover. That's the limiting factor in habitat, and it's the same with turkeys too. So we have all this. Now we attack the nest robbers. Now we could have attacked the nest robbers along the way, but we're building our population with the habitat. Now that we've gotten to that point where we're maximum habitat, we have the maximum potential for pheasant and turkey poult and turkeys, then we're attacking our nest robbers. And so we'll continue to work on the nest robbers as we go, but you know, working on the nest robbers first without the habitat is the wrong way. It's putting the cart before the horse. And then now we can look at food sources. You know, turkeys love our little clover plots. And so not only do I love our little clover plots for deer transitioning through them for hunting plots on the way to the big diverse plots, it doesn't hold them for that long. They travel through, they get used to being and establishing a pattern of use all summer long. Because we only have 2 1/4 acres of clover plots out of 19 to 20 acres of food out here, then we don't have to worry about creating a huge summer doe herd. There's just a few deer that hang out, but every buck in the area knows about those little clover plots. And then guess what, in the spring? All those little clover, chicory, bird's foot trefoil, and alfalfa mixed plots are outstanding for attracting turkeys. So even in a 2 1/2 acre field that we have, or a 4 1/2 acre field, to put a 1/10 of an acre or a 1/4 acre little clover plot in the corner, that's where we kill our toms. So that's some of the strategy of it, but then the turkeys love it in the spring. As soon as that's coming up, if you shoot a turkey and you check out their stomachs, you're gonna find they have a whole bunch of little leaves of green in there, and it's a really good attraction for setting out our little pop-ups. We like starting there. Dylan, you'd probably prefer that we never hunt out of pop-ups. You like just going and sitting against a tree, right? You want to run and gun like 100%. But we like especially, we bring some coffee in, sit in a chair, have a little conversation, and then all of a sudden you realize the turkeys are 400 yards away across the ridge and you end up belly crawling and getting into position. That's fun. So we have a little combination where Dylan would have been just sitting against a tree to begin with and then running and gunning after that, and you know, to each his own, right? Yep. So, but we like that combination of both. But you can bet our pop-ups that we put out for turkey are right on those little clover plots. My son-in-law, Joe, he had an incredible morning. His turkey hunt, he came from the UP of Michigan, couldn't wait to come down here and turkey hunt, and it was over in 40 minutes or less. He had them roosting right behind him in the hardwoods that we didn't cut. And they came in and gobbling 10 feet behind his blind, went out into the little clover plot, and he smoked one there. I even came over and tried to belly crawl into the area because he said if we had 3 people, we probably could have got 3 birds that morning in the one little spot. But that's what we have our clover for, and that's part of our strategy for hunting, and where we at least start hunting in the morning, even though we might end up belly crawling and running somewhere else. They're good places to start, and it's just part of our overall turkey management, producing that edge for turkey nesting, escape cover for poult, and a little bit of food throw in. I think people focus on the food too much. They focused on the nest robbers. That's putting the cart before the horse. You have to focus on edge, habitat, and that's that perfect transition for turkeys to establish a base so you can actually build population, actually have some hunting strategy, and improve your turkey numbers. And oh, by the way, it greatly helps our grouse in there, our pheasant out here, and then all the strategy that we have for deer incorporated. It's hard not to have rabbits when you're doing all this. We have tons of rabbits, but it all fits together. What I find is continually the best whitetail habitats, the best whitetail properties include all wildlife species, and it's hard to have great whitetail habitat without including all those, and I hope that makes sense. We focus on whitetails a lot, but we love everything in between, and we can even love fishing. I have to point this out, this hat right here, pretty darn cool hat that Dylan found on eBay.
eBay.
So Cushing Lake Resort, this is where we go and I love to get away. We have a camper up there, and I love fishing up there. Up in Canada, we do that 5-6 times a year. My dad's been there with me, my brother, Dylan, Dante, friends. It's a place with a lot of memories. Even if we wanted to leave from there, it's just one of those places you're connected to. I've probably been going there about 12 years. I've been up there dozens of times. It's a really cool spot to go, and Dylan was just looking at old hats, and this thing popped up, so he bought it and gave it to me this morning. So that's why I'm wearing it. I love this hat. This is
hopefully it's lucky.
That's a part of who I am. So I mean, it's kind of like it's lucky already having it. That's the way I look at it. So appreciate the hat, Dylan. This is something else I love doing. I have a big love for fishing. That was my first love before even hunting or any of this stuff. So hope it shows through in the videos, and you can take something back and learn how to explode the turkey populations on your property, because it might not be the order of things that you need to improve that maybe some other people are doing out there. Improve the habitat, and the wildlife will follow. And oh, by the way, I'm pointing this out in today's videos, Camp Kicking Bear, where we give all the money that we raise back to Kicking Bear. We don't keep a dime. And we do this, we charge people for a habitat day. We could keep that money. I used to have habitat days in the past, but it's a great way for us to give back. Kicking Bear is an organization that gets kids and youth involved in hunting. Their mission statement is to get a bow in a kid's hand and lead them and their family to the Lord. Not much better than that, and they work all around the country. Ray Howell founded that over 20 years ago, and we have an event here. We actually have a bunch of kids come in. We've had up to 43 kids at the event. We raise a lot of money. We have a charity hunt winner that'll hunt with us the end of September. We draw that there. That's $250 to get in, $100 for the raffle. It's on Father's Day weekend on that Saturday, starts at 10 a.m. We provide lunch and everything. And this year will be a special year. We're going to eclipse $100,000 given to them, in this being our 5th year. We give about $20,000 right around there to Kicking Bear every single year for 4 years, and this will be the 5th year. So it'll be a special year. It's a great organization. I mean, what better? Kids and hunting. So check it out. Hope to see you there. We have limited spaces, and it's a great event. So I'll have the information for sign up in the description. Thank you.